The TD Niagara Jazz Festival presents Niagara Summer Mardi Gras Sessions. Join us online every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we bring New Orleans to the north. Direct from the Crescent City, Dancin' Man 504, Windex Pete, Christopher Butcher of the Heavyweights Brass Band, and more. Featuring mask making, Cajun cooking demos, musical spoons, second line dance steps, cocktail demos, funky fashion tips, and musical clips. Tune in for these free sessions on our Facebook or YouTube channels, Jazz Niagara. Then we'll celebrate Niagara Summer Mardi Gras together this summer on July 18th. It's virtually possible. Just watch and see.
Niagara's Summer Mardi Gras sessions are brought to you in part by TD, the City of St. Catharines, and the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake.
And good evening and welcome to Niagara Summer Mardi Gras Sessions Part 6. I can't believe it. If you're just joining us for the first time, what we're doing is we're gearing up for Niagara Summer Mardi Gras, which will take place virtually. We'll be live streaming it from here in St. Catharines and New Orleans on Saturday, July the 18th. So basically all of these sessions are getting you ready to celebrate in your community so you can celebrate depending on how many people we're allowed to have gather, which we still don't know. As of today, it's 10. So if you're celebrating with 10, you can have 10 of your closest friends with you. You can celebrate with your neighbors at a distance. It's all possible. And so we're teaching you how to make masks, how to find your funky outfit, tonight how to make a great cocktail and some Cajun cuisine, and so much more, history of New Orleans. So all of these are available on our Facebook channel, which is facebook.com/jazzniagara/live. So please do check them out. They stay up there forever. And we also have a recipes page. So tonight what you're going to witness, don't worry about taking notes. Go to our recipes page. I'll post that as well. And then you'll have the videos as well as the ingredients and you can cook along. Okay, I don't think I even introduced myself. It's been quite the day here. So my name is Juliet Dunn, and this is presented to you by the TD Niagara Jazz Festival. We're doing our best to bring you live sessions and live music while we're all in lockdown or partial lockdown, and we're happy to do so. We have support from the City of St. Catharines, the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and Ontario Creates. I don't want to forget anybody, and TD, of course, who is our title sponsor. But tonight we also have an additional sponsor, Forty Creek Distillery, which is a local distillery. I'm going to put up his slide right now. Forty Creek Distillery, and I'm going to bring on Chris Thompson to say a few words. Here's Chris. Hey, Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Juliet, I'm fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
There he is. We can. Yay! At first there was a delay. I got nervous, but we're good. Yay!
Yay, indeed. Look
so
at that.
Tell us a little. Tell us a little bit about Forty Creek.
Well, we are Canada's original craft distillery. Our company was established in 1992. Our very first whiskey came out in 2000 when, quite frankly, Canadian whiskey was in the tank. It was not a very popular category. And Forty Creek really kind of invigorated the entire Canadian whiskey category. It kind of started this whole new evolution of premiumization of Canadian whiskey. It started to get represented in, started getting taken seriously again with critics and reviewers, and certainly in the bartender and cocktail community, which I think is fantastic since, listen, we're going to be featuring a fantastic cocktail for Mardi Gras for the Niagara Jazz Festival. I'm super excited. It's great.
So excited. And we'll be doing more along the way with Forty Creek, with Mardi Gras and the festival. So we're super excited. Thanks so much for sponsoring this Mardi Gras Sessions. I'm going to put up your slide again, and everyone who's tuning in, we're going to start off with food, and then we're going to have the mint julep done with which I know that the other Chris, the bartender, told you which Forty Creek whiskey is he using? You said it was one of your favorites, I believe.
I am pretty sure he's featuring our signature Forty Creek Barrel Select. This is the whiskey that built the bus for our company. If he's not using that, he might be using our more bourbon forward flavored whiskey, which is called Double Barrel Reserve. But trust me, either or will work spectacularly in a traditional mint julep which is it. I mean, it's been the cocktail of choice for the Kentucky Derby since 1938. So
Wow.
it's a spectacular cocktail. It's fantastic for summer. It is a perfect fit for Mardi Gras, particularly here in Canada, where, listen, we need as much sunshine and as much goodness as we can.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. And I know that we're working on, so Mardi Gras is 4 weeks, just under 4 weeks away. And we are working on, so everyone at home, you can cook along and you can make the cocktails, but then we have another option, which is going to be ordering your takeout, and we'll be announcing our restaurant partner shortly, but definitely the partner for alcohol is 40 Creek on this one. And basically it's going to be a Niagara Summer Mardi Gras dinner and cocktail package. And so you get your takeout, and we might have a choice of 2 meals. We'll talk to the chef. And then Chris from 40 Creek will line up the alcohol, because we can do that now, and hopefully we still can. Yay! Right, Chris? Yeah, right? Yeah. So the little bottles. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have a hurricane cocktail, because that's a signature one. And then you get your takeout on Saturday, July 18th. You've got all your masks and all your fun stuff, your beads, your baubles, your feathers. We have a parade going by. You can make your food, or you can order your takeout. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So there'll be more details coming soon. Just follow us on all our socials, which is Jazz Niagara, pretty much across the board. And also our website, NiagaraJazzFestival.com. Chris, we're so excited to have you as a partner. And this isn't the first year. So thank you. Yeah, you've been on board ever since day one. It's year 7 now.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be part of the Niagara Jazz Festival. And in particular, Mardi Gras, because, I mean, cocktails are an integral part of the Mardi Gras experience, and obviously, sipping a few cocktails along with your fantastic jazz. It's really the perfect combination for us. So we're super excited to be part of it. We're super excited to be hanging out with you tonight. It's going to be great. Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Once again, everybody, that's Chris Thompson from 40 Creek Distillery. And at this point, I would like to bring on our chefs for this evening. So this evening we are featuring Comfort Kitchen, and that's Mary Comfort and Danielle, and they met actually way back in I shouldn't say way back, that's not very nice, but back in secondary school, and they've been friends ever since. They've both traveled the world, and I'm sure they'll tell us about a few of the countries they've been to, diverse areas. But a few years ago, they both ended up coming back here to Niagara. They renewed their friendship, and they discovered their shared love of cooking. Now, for those who weren't at our first annual Niagara Summer Mardi Gras, which was last year, 2019, they did the food, and they also ran out of food because it was so popular. It was so tasty and delicious, and we're so happy to have them both back as partners for this year's Niagara Summer Mardi Gras, the online edition. And here they are, Comfort Kitchen. Hey, ladies, how you doing?
Hey, Juliet. Hi, it's great to see you again. We won't run out of food tonight.
Exactly, because you're just cooking a nice small portion, which I get to get afterwards, which I'm very excited about. And Danielle, earlier I didn't say your last name, excuse me. So Danielle Murray and Mary Comfort. So what are you going to do for us tonight?
Yeah. Well, tonight we are going to start with Cajun shrimp. Danielle is going to do most of the cooking. New Orleans food is really in her wheelhouse. We've done a lot of traveling, and I do a lot of the Indian style, and we sort of have picked
Middle
Eastern. That's another one that I
nice.
do. So I'm actually the camera operator, which is the iPhone operator on a $20 tripod. So bear with me and any mistakes or whatever. And I'll be the person Friday grabbing dishes and handing anything over that we may have forgot in our mise en place. But for the evening, that we're just looking forward to cooking for you.
Fantastic.
And, I was going to say my specialty is New Orleans food. I love it because New Orleans is one of my favorite places in the world, and Mexican. I've cooked that for years because I lived in Mexico for a long, long time. So we've got it all covered here. But so tonight I'm going to be a little bit more hands-on for that reason.
Nice. And
also, if anyone has any food issues like gluten, so we're doing bread pudding as well. And of course, I'm gluten intolerant, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But
Oh, cool.
people could reach out to us if they had some food issues or allergies, because we do tend to cook around a lot of different things: vegetarian, vegan, gluten. So we can talk to a lot of that.
Fantastic. And Danielle, I do recall that you studied chefism or cooking or your color. I'm like, what's the word? You went to culinary school? Is that what you would say, or
Oh, but
what is the correct phrase?
I'm absolutely self-taught, kind of an idiot savant, I think is the term. But I went to New Orleans on vacation many times, and then I ended up going to a couple of different cooking schools,
Gotcha.
just so that I could learn some of the specialties and gumbo and jambalaya. I know the jambalaya was a huge hit at last year's Mardi Gras.
It was.
Wonderful to hear this about how, okay, and Mardi Gras is in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And everybody in the whole rest of the world is going, man, these guys are a day late and a dollar short. we had that in February, but
It's Niagara
looking forward to it.
summer Mardi Gras, and I don't think
Mardi Gras.
and I don't think I mentioned. So we don't know how many people can gather. So if we can have 25, we'll have probably 12 VIP guests. In any case, however many people we can have gathered that the government lets us, we will be putting tickets online for that. And in your ticket will be included a meal from Comfort Kitchen. You'll get a Mardi Gras mask. You'll get a COVID mask. You'll get beads. You'll get a water bottle, all this fun stuff. And it's called the Tentative Series because you would come with your bubble of people, 2 to 6 people in a tent. And it's at a private location here in St. Catharines. So there will be opportunities. And then, of course, if we can only have 10 people gather, we realize it'll be Peter, myself, the band, and the film crew, which is Omni Media, and of course Chris's sound crew as well, and then logistics. So either way, you'll be cooking food for somebody. Definitely me and Peter and our volunteers, and hopefully a few VIPs, and everybody else can cook along with you with the videos. So enough chit chat from my end. Let's get to cooking. I'm going to remove myself. My mouth is watering, and I'm sure everybody else's is too. So here we go.
Thank you very much, Juliet.
Thank you.
We are going to try to show you what we're doing. This is,
All right.
okay, Mary's doing her stuff now.
Now,
We're going to start with the Cajun shrimp. I am turning the stove on high. I personally like to cook everything on high, which
I
is
do
wrong.
not,
Yeah.
but Danielle does.
It's absolutely the wrong way to cook it, but what the heck. The Cajun shrimp is probably the simplest thing we'll ever make, so I almost hate to give up the secret. We usually mix our own Cajun seasoning, which we've got here. You can use the store-bought Cajun seasoning as well. Feel free. So we decided to be on the safe side. We'd mix them together, so we wouldn't be picking favorites. You can pick up those recipes pretty much anywhere online if you want to make your own.
A couple of the popular ones is Paul Prudhomme's and
Emerald.
Lagasse.
Yep, and you can buy the prepared ones too.
What kind of seasoning goes into it, Danielle? Like usually,
There's always cayenne, and that's the part that's really nice for you to be able to control it yourself. Salt, garlic, onion powder, and thyme. There can be a few other additions, but that's sort of the basics. There's a lot of basics for any kind of Cajun cuisine. The most important is the Holy Trinity, which is the onions, onions, green peppers, and celery. We're not doing that this time, but if you wanted to turn this into a pasta, you could add that. You could add onions and all the rest to it after the pan's hot. Add the shrimp, and afterward add a little bit of cream and serve it on pasta. Anyway, I'm going to add a touch of olive oil. Okay. Just because I want these shrimp that are pretty well coated, and I'm using my fingers. I'm sorry. I do have tongs.
sorry, Juliet.
Juliet, my hands are clean. Although it's nice because you don't usually have to watch me do it.
It's all good. It's all
Anyway,
good.
we're going to sear these off. You can do them blackened too. Oops, where are we? So you could blacken them by not adding any butter to them and garlic. But, if you can add garlic butter, why wouldn't you? So we put tons and tons of this on. Whoops. And throw it in the pan where it will sizzle like crazy. I hope. Mary just turned up my heat. That has never happened. That's so much fun. Okay. And the best thing about shrimp, now we're using 21, 25s, I guess.
Yes, that's what we got today.
Yes, because it was fancy because it's for Juliet. When we do it at home, or when I do it at home, I usually end up using the smaller shrimp just because they're more cost efficient.
And she doesn't want to treat her son that good.
That's
He
right.
may never leave.
He will never leave. So here we have enough for 3 giant shrimp for 4 people, or 12 giant shrimp for 1 person. And the trick to what's going to make this Cajun shrimp, and Cajun garlic shrimp we usually call it, is we mix butter. Oops. We mix some butter and garlic. Yeah, not quite on there, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
And we usually put that into a small chopper, like a little mini food processor. And at the end of the day, we come up with this. I'm just going to wash my hands now that I did that. Sorry. That's always fun on the air. Anyway, we're going to add the garlic butter to the pan in just a minute. As soon as the shrimp starts to get a little bit pink. Now, if you want, you can see here, you see it's getting a little bit blackened. If you wanted to just do blackened shrimp, you could do that. You could say another minute, flip it over, and it's done. But instead of going blackened, we're going to soften it, add some garlic, and then it's going to have the most amazing garlic butter sauce. Now, I feel really kind of bad about this. Every recipe that you're going to see, they're all going to be posted. Every single recipe involves outrageous amounts of butter, like at least half a cup of butter. Well, that's how I keep my spelt figure. But this is really one time you don't want to skimp on the butter. The reason I don't start these in the garlic butter is the garlic can burn a little bit. And we don't want it to get bitter. And
do you usually serve this as an appetizer?
Normally I
So
would.
if someone didn't want to do pasta, what else would you serve with it? Would you do a rice or would you do?
You could throw it over rice. You could actually make a po' boy or something out of it if you want.
Right.
In which case I would definitely take off the tails before they bite into the sandwich. And when you look at this, if you think it might not have enough spice for you, you can add more. There we go. And I think those are pretty much done. This is the most miraculous thing. If you're cooking for people and you want to bring out a nice, impressive appetizer that's quick to do, that's it. Now, next stop, we're going to end up doing the bread pudding, which is phenomenal. That does take a lot more time. And you're not going to believe it. I'm turning it off. These are done. As soon as the color changes, they're opaque. They are ready to roll. And I'm going to show Juliet what she's getting. Oh, I just turned it way up. Thank you, Mary.
My mouth is watering.
Here we go.
Wow.
Okay. So the important part with this, we put some pieces of baguette in here. And I'm not a bread eater. Let me just do 6 of these here. Never been a big deal, but anybody who tried these at Mardi Gras last year knows it's all about this sauce. So this butter getting dipped up in the bread is what makes this special. So there, before we serve it to you, of course, it's very important after we've put our half a pound of butter in there that you have some greens. So there we go, a little bit of parsley on it.
So you've got vegetable too.
Yeah. Anyway, so that, my dears, is the fastest, easiest Cajun shrimp in the world. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Amazing, ladies. Okay. I'm trying to figure out a way how I can drive over while doing the broadcast so I can eat them right away. Yeah. I don't want to wait another 40 minutes. I can almost smell it over here.
I was going to say that might be wise because I do like these.
I better
We'll get
hurry.
over fairly quickly.
Exactly. So we're
You're safe from me. You have my share anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll have them
perfect.
for you.
Perfect. So we'll let you prepare for the bread pudding. We're going to play a musical clip, and then we're going to bring on our bartender for this evening, and we'll come back and see you for bread pudding. So,
Perfect.
yeah,
Look forward to it.
us too. So happy prep, and we'll see you in a bit. So once again, that's Danielle Murray and Mary Comfort from Comfort Kitchen with their Cajun shrimp. And it's so great because sometimes you think, oh, I can't cook, and it might seem a little bit overwhelming. And for me, I'm visual. So even if I have the list of ingredients, if I see it done, it's much easier. So that's fantastic. So again, on our website, I believe it's the page is /recipes. So NiagaraJazzFestival.com/recipes. You can go there. You'll have a photo of the food because they're going to take a photo right now, and then their ingredients, and then you can watch the video at any time and share it with your friends. So that's pretty great. So speaking of videos, one of the artists that will be featured in our Niagara Summer Mardi Gras on Saturday, July 19th is Roberta Hunt and her Red Hot Ramble. And she just recently released this new CD. I believe it's on Sunday. It was just this past Sunday. Bonnie will correct me if I'm wrong. And so I've got a couple of clips, but let's do this one here.
The sweet light of the morning, when the sun begins to shine. Oh, they will tell one another, yeah, today will be a good day. I'm gonna make it that way. She put the voodoo on you. She put the voodoo on you. She put the voodoo on you. Gonna lay it on you.
Yes, today will be a good day. That's the third CD release from the Red Hot Ramble. I do hope you can join us for Niagara's virtual Summer Mardi Gras on Saturday, July 18th. They are one of our featured bands, and if you keep tuning in, you'll get to see clips of some of the other bands that will be joining us. So now we're going to turn to cocktails. This is our first cocktail segment, is it not? Yes, it is our first cocktail segment. So we've had food, but we haven't learned about the classic New Orleans cocktails. And today we've got Christopher Smith, and here's his promo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Christopher Smith, and I'm going to be your guest bartender for the TD Niagara Jazz Festival's Mardi Gras sessions, the cocktail edition. So join me on Tuesday, June 23rd between 6 and 7 p.m. and I'm going to take you through the motions of making a mint julep. So join me then. See ya.
And here he is, Christopher Smith. Hey, Chris, how you doing this evening?
I'm great. How are you, Juliet?
Excellent, excellent. We're very excited to hear about the mint julep. I have your video lined up, but you might want to chat a little bit before. You tell me when we're going to go into it. So what we did, everyone, is in the past, sometimes we have technical difficulties because it's a whole new world with us all being in lockdown. So what we did was we pre-recorded Chris making the cocktail, and we're going to stop and start with him live, kind of taking us through the steps. But before we do that, did you want to say a few words? Well, first of all, can I say a few words?
By all means.
Chris is one of my oldest friends, everyone. So I grew up in Vancouver, and I went to high school in Vancouver. Didn't go to high school with Chris. We're 4 years apart, but I like to go out dancing, and I met Chris out at a club called The Edge. This is back in the 80s. We're trying not to date ourselves. Anyway, we became like this from I was 15, he was 19, until I was 18. Well, we were close, but then I left. I went to Paris at age 18. Chris was at the airport with my whole family. We're dear, dear friends. And then he visited me in France. And then I guess we kind of lost touch like in the 90s, I guess, Chris? Yeah. And Chris's last name is Smith, so you kind of fast forward to 2002. I was working at the Shaw Festival. Christopher Smith, you're never gonna, now we've got like Facebook and all that. Back then, that had just started, but it's hard to find somebody in the phone book with the last name Smith. So I thought maybe Chris was lost forever. And then one day I was at the Paddock in Toronto. It was 2002. It was my day off from the Shaw. I was just about to head back to Niagara. And you'll hear that Chris has a very recognizable voice. And I heard his voice and I went, and I think I burst into tears or pretty close. And I was like, there's Chris. And the rest is history. We reconnected in 2002. And yeah, it's pretty great.
Here we are.
And here we are. Tell us about some of the places you've worked and are working at, Chris.
Okay, well, my first job in a restaurant was when I was 14 as a dishwasher. And then I graduated to being a busser. And then throughout my history, I've worked in lots of different restaurants. I did actually go to school. I studied art history. I traveled the world, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually been in Toronto for the last 26 years. I did bar catering for a number of years for the Martini Club and worked major events, including the 25th anniversary of the Toronto International Film Festival with approximately 6,000 guests. So,
ouch.
So anyway, needless to say, since then, I, of course, have been bartending ever since. I've worked at a lot of different restaurants. I used to work at Citron on Queen Street. I used to work at the Paddock, as you mentioned, where we reconnected. And currently, I actually work for a restaurant called Stratus. And that is on the 36th floor of the South TD Tower.
Oh, nice. Nice tie-in.
79 Wellington. Anyway, so, a funny story is that they actually hired me in the third week of January.
Oh, right.
And then, of course, everything happened. And so service was suspended mid-March, and we're just waiting to get back to the game and start serving some more cocktails.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. And actually, I didn't realize that you were working at Stratus, and I didn't know it was called Stratus. But what's the club that's up there as well? Is it the athletic club?
It's actually part of a larger organization called the Cambridge Groups of Canada.
Right, and there's an athletic club up there?
It is, yes. So there are actually 3 different clubs downtown Toronto. So the restaurant that I work at is actually attached to the Toronto Athletic Club.
Right. And so when you told me, you started to describe Stratus to me, because of course there's a connect with one of our partners that's been a partner from day one is Stratus Vineyards. And I believe you serve Stratus wines at Stratus, right? Yeah. And so there was that connect.
And 40 Creek.
And 40 Creek, exactly. So
and 40 Creek.
it was like our perfect master plan. And then Peter and I played a gig, and now I feel guilty or bad because I don't remember the name, like the event it was. It was a private event, and it was just such a stunning. You weren't there, of course, because it was before, and it was just very stunning. And of course, I got changed for the event in the changing rooms there at the athletic club, and I thought, what a nice kind of hidden gem. Well, it's hidden to me because I didn't know about it, and gorgeous.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah, is it open to so anybody can go to Stratus, Chris, or is it private? How does that work?
It was actually it was a private club up to about 6 years ago,
Oh.
but it was opened to the general public. Just because, like you said, it's a hidden gem, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those places that you get to go to. You get to enjoy the Toronto skyline. You actually look over Lake Ontario, Toronto Island, the Toronto skyline. It's pretty spectacular. I've never had a backdrop like that in my entire working career.
Wow. And I'd have to agree for singing as well, because you've got the skyline. It is.
Yeah.
And here's a question I'm throwing on you. So you're preparing a mint julep, which we're very excited about. Do you serve mint juleps, or did you serve mint juleps, and will you when you go back at Stratus, or no?
Yeah, I mean, mint julep, the mint julep is actually a little bit, it's a classic cocktail, right? So,
Okay.
and I think a lot of, in the current trends for bartending and stuff like that, it's always good to know your classic cocktails first, and then you can move from those classics and adapt them according to what you're looking for today. But again, it's always, for a bartender, 100% you need to know classic cocktails first,
Right.
and then you're down the yellow brick road.
Nice. Okay, so I think I've lined up your video, but we are going to stop and start so you can talk us through it. So let's see how we do here.
Okay.
Whoops. Let's get it bigger. Can you see that?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, looks like that was the end of the video. Let's replay it. There we go.
All right, so these are all the tools that you need. You've got your mint, you've got your sugar, you've got your chilled glass and water, and of course, 40 Creek, which is the copper pot reserve. So you add about 1 teaspoon of sugar, maybe 1.5, depending on your sweetness levels.
Nice.
And then you add probably about 8 to 10 mint leaves, and then you muddle. So you're grinding them in. You've got the abrasiveness of the sugar, and you just grind it in there just to release the oils and the scent of the mint. And you do it, I'd probably say maybe 20 times or so, just to really get it going on. Just add probably maybe half an ounce of water. And then, of course, the main event is adding your, well, in this case, the 40 Creek, which is a whiskey, a rye whiskey, rye forward whiskey, I should say. And you add probably about 2.5 ounces of that. Are we still in? Oh, something's going on.
Okay, I think I lost.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, me neither. So I can still hear it playing on my end. So let me just,
That's okay.
So we got to the part when the best part when you were adding the whiskey.
Yes. So I can just take you through it without seeing the visuals. Is that you add the whiskey, and then I actually like to stir it around a little bit, just so then the sugar dissolves, and then you add the ice. And I actually use so traditionally the mint julep actually calls for shaved or crushed ice, but in this case, I mean, as a bartender, you have a little bit of flexibility as the way that you're doing. But because it is a spirit-forward cocktail, I actually prefer the large format ice cubes. So I have actually 2 props. Who doesn't like props?
We love props. I'm going to remove myself so we can go close up on you for your props.
Okay. So anyway, so this is actually a king cube tray. So as you can see, you fill that full of water, and they come out in nice big cubes. But I also have another one, which is they were gifted to me by a close friend of mine, And these are, I call them like globe ice or snowball ice. And so they're actually big globes. So you put that on top there, put the water in these little holes there, make sure it's nice and tight, and stick that in the freezer. And that is a conversation piece in and of itself.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry
So go
we
ahead.
lost the end of your video, but we got all the way up to the whiskey part, and then of course it'll be on our channel. Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. Do you know when you'll be going back to work at Stratus, or any news on that end?
We don't know just yet, because it is it's an enclosed place. It's actually attached to an athletic club as well, which has its own challenges.
Yep.
But we're anticipating late August, early September, I think, at this stage of the game. But yeah.
Well, we'll come and see you for a mint
But
julep
please,
and other
come on
cocktails.
by, enjoy some cocktails, enjoy the space, the skyline, and definitely your company.
Yeah. Thank you, and we'll see you again for Niagara Summer Mardi Gras on July 18th. You're going to take us through a couple other cocktails that we can do at home while we enjoy the whole show. So thanks again for joining us, and stay backstage, because I'll come and chat with you and the ladies after the show. Thank you. And
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a pleasure. That was Christopher Smith, everyone, our featured bartender for this evening, and also one of the bartenders. I believe he's, I'll get in trouble if he's not. I'm going to say head bartender at Stratus. And if not, maybe he'll get a promotion. I'm going to bring back the ladies from Comfort Kitchen to take us through bread pudding. But you know what? Before that, wait a second. We're going to do a musical break. I'm going to show you another clip from Roberta Hunt. Just don't want to make sure I share the same one with you. And I think it's this one here.
I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal Street? Will the band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? Will the people be singing at the foot of Canal Street? Is your father alive? Yeah. Does your mother pray? Pray there. It's my golden crown down. I'm gonna lay all my burdens down. Woo! I'm moving up on higher ground at the foot of Canal Street.
Red Hot Ramble. What's not to love about that band and Mardi Gras? So excited for July 18th. Well, let's get our taste buds going again with some bread pudding with 40 Creek Whiskey. Here's the ladies from Comfort Kitchen to talk us through and show us the steps. How you doing?
We're doing well. Thanks
Great.
so much.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to some mint juleps, actually.
I know, me too. Yummy,
And
yummy.
you probably know we're going to be using the 40 Creek whiskey in our whiskey sauce, because we're doing this
Perfect.
recipe in two parts. So we'll show you the bread pudding first,
Yeah.
but it's all about the whiskey sauce. The bread pudding is just a vehicle.
It's always
really
about the
tasty
whiskey. It's always about the whiskey.
It is.
Okay, great. So I think I can remove myself and let you take over the screen and show us what you got.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the bread pudding situation. Like everything, there's a bit of a story that goes with it. I've learned this from different people. I know I love Chef Paul Prudhomme's version. Our version will be up on the website. I know with Prudhomme's, I believe he used toasted pecans, which is wonderful.
Mhm.
And I can't do that because it gets stuck in my father's teeth, or lack thereof. But so we'll be using raisins. But I'll tell you how to riff on it a little bit, because it's like pretty much everything we cook. There are different ways to do
It
it.
changes.
Yes.
It changes based on what we have in the fridge and what's available. That's for sure. All right, let's go
Okay.
to our mise en place.
Okay, now you'll see this beautiful setup. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, because we're always this organized.
We're not.
Okay, or not.
I'm just going to hold that up a little bit.
Okay, that looks good. We're going to start. It's a little bit strange. I started out making bread pudding by piling all of the ingredients together, whisking them up, and putting them on the bread. But I discovered the cinnamon, because I love a lot of cinnamon. The cinnamon always found itself floating on the top of the milk. So here I have about a cup and a half of sugar and a couple of teaspoons, not tablespoons. I got a lot of cinnamon.
Yeah.
It says 1 tablespoon, but use as much as you think you'd like. Now, this recipe calls for a fair amount of bread, and I don't think we had quite enough to do the full recipe, but that probably won't stop me. This is some cinnamon or some nutmeg and a pinch of salt. And you'll probably know this. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys are foodies too. If you love jazz, you love New Orleans, you love food. I have no idea where I was going with that, of course. But anyway, we're going to mix these all together so it doesn't find itself floating on the top, and we'll have everything well incorporated. Yeah, we're going to have to lift this a little bit more. Lift it a little bit more, sorry. Just so we can, whoops. I got no idea how to do this part. You're doing so well, Mary. Okay, there we go. So we have our sugar all ready to go. Now we've got to do the eggs. And this is one of the riffs you can do. Oh, that's what I was going to say if you're very fancy. Well, first off, you need to put some salt in all of your sweet stuff. So that's why I put a little bit of salt in. The other thing is I have 6 eggs here, and we're just going to whip them up a little bit whole. If you want to have a very special and impressive bread pudding, and you're going to serve it shortly after taking it out of the oven, well, then you separate those eggs and you whip the whites and you mix everything together, including the bread. After everything's done, then you fold in the egg whites. And you still have a custard, but it's a lot more like a souffle. So not being quite that fancy, we're going to do the super easy kind, and you'll still be surprised at how well this turns out, almost souffle-like if you eat it right away. The beauty of this is it'll last for a long time in the fridge. So if you make a huge one, you can continue to eat it. Now, here we've got a heavy cream with a lighter cream. You could use all half and half. You could use just all milk. I think you could even use evaporated milk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're a farm girl, so you used to have to. Did you ever do that? Because we used to have to do things like that in the winter.
No, actually, on the farm, because we had cream that came from the cows.
Oh,
We used to scoop the cream off the top of the milk and use it when we were doing cooking, or if we were having tea or coffee or whatever. So
Okay.
we like it that way.
I'm going to add some milk to this. I put in a little more than I need, I think, because at the end of the day, I always need more than I think I'm going to use. It's about 3 cups. I'm taking it a little shy just in case. And some vanilla. It kind of cracks me up to have my vanilla measured because I just tend to pour it in usually. But now, there we go. Now all of the sweet stuff is going in, flavoring, just to try and get that mixed up a little bit. There we go. Because basically what you're doing here is you're making a really nice, rich custard. Now that custard is going to go on top of the bread.
What kind of bread did you use for this?
This was fun because you can use almost anything. A lot of times, whoops, let me see if we got it there. There we go. A lot of times I'll use an Italian loaf and just take most of the crust off because you don't want it to be too crusty. And this time, you can see I've got some, whoops, I'm turning on the stove. Okay. You can use cuernos, what do they call it? Croissants.
Croissants.
Okay, but croissants. We have a little bit of baguette. I took most of the crispy bits off. And we even have some Kaiser rolls right there. You can use, and I hate to admit this, but last week I made one for my family, and we used some hot dog buns that I had, because in a perfect world, you want the bread to be a little bit dry.
And a mixture of breads isn't going to hurt it.
Oh, you can use whole wheat
So
too.
yeah, so maybe a good idea if someone really does want to do it and they're planning in advance is, you know, the last 3 or 4 slices, because you don't just want the heel. Last 3 or 4 slices in a loaf, you know, just put it in the freezer and start collecting a bag full. Or even if it's a bread, maybe your family hasn't enjoyed or it got a little stale. Put it in the freezer and then hold on to it so that you've got some bread ready for bread pudding when you're feeling the urge.
Now, you can see here, this doesn't soak in immediately. In a perfect world, you'd leave this to soak in for quite a while. I'm going to actually put all of this in now because, very strangely, it was measured out correctly. Mostly because Mary did the measuring. Thanks very much, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There we go. So instead of the whisk, I'm going to use a giant wooden spoon. You want it to sit for a little bit so that everything can absorb in. I'm not going to make you just sit and watch my bread pudding dry.
Raisins?
Yeah, the raisins will go in a sec. Now, I'm glad that you mentioned them, of course, because I am famous for not putting the raisins in.
I was going to ask what other fruit, like, so.
Well, because I was telling you the other day, right?
Yeah.
When I was in New Orleans, I went to Mother's. I've got about a cup or so of raisins. We can use the nuts, of course. Mother's, who had very famous bread pudding, actually used canned fruit cocktail. It was not my favorite thing, just because, you know,
Would
canned
they still
fruit
use
cocktail.
the cinnamon as well?
I
Or
think
did they change the base a little bit?
I don't think they had as much cinnamon in it.
Mm.
Now, it's funny. I've made so many bread puddings because, you know, Mary and I own the Comfort Kitchen Cafe. It's in the Brascombe building in St. Catharines, right behind the hospital on 4th Avenue. So we're just doing lunches and things. But before that, I had Danny's Bistro, and we always had bread puddings. Now, last week at the cafe, we did a take-home dinner.
Right.
And we used
That was our dessert.
this particular bread pudding. And in another couple of weeks, we'll probably start using the peaches and cream bread puddings. Those are wonderful. So then I might use a little less cinnamon, a little more nutmeg. Now, this I should show you. I'm just going to turn us around, and then Mary can yell at me after. You don't need to see my face, but for this amount, you're going to want to use one of these pans, right? It's about the size of a lasagna pan, a little bit deeper-ish. Today, we're going to make a couple of different ones. So a cake pan size, slightly smaller size, so that we can put one aside, and we can definitely get one to Juliet today, so Juliet and Peter have something to eat. Okay. Anyway, if you have a chance, please come by and see us at the restaurant. But one of my favorite things to do, I wonder if I should use a bigger scoop or if I'm okay with this. One of my favorite things to do is I made a blueberry cheesecake bread pudding. So the basis is the same, and you can use whole wheat bread. Like, don't think twice about whatever kind you want. Oh my God, I made one with Krispy Kreme donuts at one point. Yeah, I shouldn't even admit
That's
that,
a diet
should
food if I've ever heard of
That's right.
it.
I know. I walk the dog, so I won't have a heart attack. Anyway, what I did is I just made almost like a cream cheese topping. You know, cream cheese, a little bit of butter, not much, and some icing sugar, and a little bit of milk, and dotted that. Oops. No, we got to get you on here. I'm sorry, making you look at my torso.
Really do.
Yeah, you guys don't get paid enough to do that. There we go. All right. There we go. That's about what you'd need. And as it sits for another minute, it'll get a lot, it'll absorb a lot more. Anyway, I like to put the sort of filling dotted among the blueberries. And you just put little, maybe half-inch cubes of the filling, or of the sort of cheesecake stuff. It's probably not the ideal term for it. And it's absolutely gorgeous because it's sweet but a little bit tart because of the cream cheese. Ooh. And then the sauce I would use on that would be a little different because I would just use some blueberries. Although, given the choice, I would use whiskey sauce on just about everything. Okay, so this is kind of, yeah, this can use a little more. This is essentially a slow cooked custard. Okay, the bread's going to keep it from being too wiggly and wobbly. We're going to put this in the oven now. And by the miracles of modern television, in a few minutes, we'll have a piece of it made for you so that when we show you the whiskey sauce, which is the most amazing thing you've ever tasted, we'll have a piece of it done so you can see how it works. But in the meantime, we're going to put it in a 350-degree oven right now. Oops. So enjoy. Come on back, Juliet.
Oh, perfect. There's my cue. Okay, so while you're putting it in the oven, I was going to play a musical clip. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
That's
Okay.
the best part of the show.
Okay. No,
Other
it's
than
not.
you.
No, this is delicious what you're preparing. We're very excited. So I'm just going to play a little musical clip of the vaudevillian, who will also be featured in our Niagara Summer Mardi Gras on Saturday, July 18th, online and for a select few here in Niagara. And that's the vaudevillian who will be joining us for our second annual Niagara Summer Mardi Gras. However, this time it will be virtually possible. Okay, and like magic, let's bring back Comfort Kitchen, and there we go, magically
Magic.
done. Yeah, I like that.
Delicious.
The genie. Magically delicious. Lucky Charms. So the bread pudding's ready, right?
Surprisingly,
No, you're
once
doing the
the-
sauce.
There is a piece somehow.
But we're going to do the very best part. Okay?
The whiskey
This-
sauce?
The whiskey sauce.
Okay.
Now, I got
I'm-
to tell you, I've been working on this sauce for years. And I learned how to make one that was almost like a hollandaise because it was egg yolks and it was spectacular. And then you couldn't reheat it. It didn't keep well. There were all of these issues. It came out about 50% of the time. And then I discovered a stupidly simple sort of a 3-ingredient sauce. It's used for sticky toffee puddings as well. We'll start it as essentially a toffee sauce.
Okay.
So easy. I really should not be showing this to people.
So I'm going to disappear and let you work your
Okay.
magic. Again, I'm drooling, so I will remove myself.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right.
Okay, so once again, we're putting this on the stove on fairly high. And the only ingredients we have, I mean, usually a caramel sauce starts with you cooking the brown sugar. I've always done that first. But
Not
instead,
this
not this
time.
time. We are doing brown sugar on top of butter, because of course it's the diet version, and heavy cream. And by heavy cream, we mean whipping cream, 35%. I really should be using this other hand, but then it would all come out backwards, so that's a bit of an issue. Okay, these 3 ingredients are going to be magic. Okay, I'll give you another little cheat, which well, you all know that the best way to make something really, really good is to use the best ingredients ever. I mean, a caprese salad without beautiful fresh tomatoes is not worth eating. However, with this, you can slide in a little margarine if you need to instead of butter. It will work. It's still going to work out. It's still going to be very sweet. And you just put in a little more whiskey and you'll be very happy.
So you could, if God forbid you were out of whiskey, you could actually just have the toffee sauce as it is right now. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, we do that frequently.
We've done that.
Yeah.
We've done toffee sauce.
We've also used it over top of ice cream
Yes.
or plain cakes.
Mhm.
Actually, with a poke cake, whatever. But I really like it as a rum sauce too.
I was just going to say, so another alcohol you could use in it, because I know we've talked about that, is rum.
Yeah. Are you seeing this? It's not even melted yet, but it already is starting to look like a sauce, which I think is a lovely, lovely thing. All you're going to do is boil this for maybe 3 to 5 minutes until you feel like it's ready. Of course, that's faster for me than it is for anybody else because, as we all know, I only cook on high.
Yeah, did you want a pinch of salt for that?
Yep. You want to put in a sprinkle?
Yeah.
Oh, we're using a real pinch.
Yeah.
If not, I can just shake it. Okay. Always a pinch of salt. Oh, that's the other thing. Sometimes this becomes a salted caramel sauce.
Yes.
Because we'll add a little bit of seasoning salt, the slightly bigger pieces, or Himalayan pink salt, do a little,
The Malden flakes. Yeah.
a little shot of that on top. You could just put this over top of a brownie to turn it into something really luxurious.
Okay. Those are the things that Danielle does.
Like set fire
Not
to the
Mary.
cake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, this way you get nice little crunchy bits on the edge. Anyway, do we have another metal spoon that I can just show them how this is coming along right now? Thank you. One of the things, as this gets a good boil going, there we go. Look, that is already almost where we want it. It's still sticking to the spoon. The beauty of this sauce is you don't have to mess with it. It really is, I don't want to say foolproof because, this is when I'll screw it up. but it's pretty darn close. Now, one of the things that people always ask me is, did you make sure, like, did you cook off the whiskey? Well, no, I didn't cook off the whiskey. I'll show you that afterward because I like the taste of it. If you have somebody who can't have alcohol, in that case, yeah, you cook it off. But if not, I don't really have a problem with leaving it in. Like I could just turn it off the heat now and we'd be ready to go. So I'm going to,
Don't lower off.
I'm going to turn
There
it
you
off.
got it off.
Okay, we've got a beautiful bubble. We are going to put in a perfectly measured teaspoon-ish of vanilla. And this is where, yes, you can add rum. Now, I got to say, I have done everything. I've done sauces with ice wine. It's not recommended because they just get lost, all the nuances. But I do this with rum fairly frequently. And we're going to use we're just using the Barrel Select 40 Creek.
We are.
Rye.
We are.
Okay, we can show them that if you want.
Yeah.
Just slide it around here. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. So we're throwing in a good full ounce pour. You can put in 2 ounces. It really depends on how it tastes. So it's entirely up to
She
you.
may taste it and then decide to add more.
I think, well, she may.
She may.
I've been given a license to kill. So yeah, let me see if that's what we're going to do. I think you want to make sure it tastes like whiskey sauce, not toffee sauce. Damn, that's good. But
It could be better.
it could be better. What happens is it takes, so once again, carefully measure.
Watch it now. Watch it.
It's
a lot of
I hear a little
whiskey.
giggle from Juliet.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she doesn't have a problem. A little more pinch of salt, because the fact is this is very, very sweet. Now we're going to show you the the piece of resistance. We have this miraculous bread pudding that is already made. Let me grab the ladle. We just put a little bit of this whiskey sauce on it. Oops. Isn't that nice? You can serve it with ice cream or whipped cream. I really don't serve it with either. I think it's beautiful this way. If you have this in the fridge, a container with the whiskey sauce, just put it in separate. If you've got a piece of the pudding left, just nuke it, throw it in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes, and then you can put that cold whiskey sauce on it and it will melt. So you don't have to even reheat the whiskey sauce. In the meantime, maybe I should eat this and then Juliet can have the new one.
I like that idea.
It's really up to you.
At this point, I'll take either or both. Wow, thank you so much, ladies. So that's Comfort Kitchen, Danielle Murray and Mary Comfort. What a great cooking demo.
Thank you.
Yeah, really fantastic. Cajun shrimp and bread pudding with that whiskey sauce. Can you just drink the sauce or does that happen?
Well, you just don't admit it to people. You
Okay,
do it,
oops.
you just don't admit it.
My
Well,
father
that-
actually does.
Yeah, your brother does.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he
that.
puts it on pancakes.
He does.
Oh, now there's an idea. I'm gonna
Oh, yeah, not bad.
pull. Well, thank you.
Eye-opener.
Thank you again. I'm going to pull in Christopher so we can say goodbye. And thanks to all of you for doing your wonderful demos and getting our mouths watering for Niagara Summer Mardi Gras. I'm going to just paste the where people can get your recipes. So I'm just typing it as we go, niagarajazzfestival.com/recipes. And I'm going to put that at the bottom there. Let's look at that. Magic. So that's where all the recipes will be posted and the videos. So what we're doing is we're posting your ingredients, but if people want to know how to do it, they have to watch your videos. So people can, right? Ha ha ha. Very sneaky. But you know, it makes sense, right? Because myself, I'm visual. So if I read it on paper, it's not quite as enticing as what you did this evening. So I'm looking forward to not being with the headset and pulling out all the ingredients and cooking with you. So thank you, and shaking and stirring and muddling with you, Christopher, with the mint julep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. I'm coming to actually drive across St. Catharines to pick up the food that you made. Thank you for that.
We hope that the
We're driving to Toronto to get our mint julep.
Oh my gosh, so we're going to be chasing each other in a roundabout.
But we're
It's all
gonna see
good.
everybody on the 18th.
Yeah.
That, exactly.
Everybody on the 8th.
Everybody's here on the 18th. and
We're actually gonna just be chasing each other.
for the rest of the month. For the rest of the month. But it's virtually possible. Niagara Summer Mardi Gras. And next week we have Dancin' Man 504 to teach us some dance steps. I'm going to play you the promo video that Karina made for us for that, which I'm discovering for the first time as well. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you. Oh, and before I forget, this Friday, we have Amanda Tosoff on piano with our live stream Love Jazz series. And then we also have, on Saturday, we have a youth performer who's opening. We've got Emilio Jeremia and Tom Van Cedars. So lots going on. Oh my goodness. Thanks again, everyone. And I'm just going to play the video and we'll see you in the week.